IT. So Google recently came up with this new UI framework called MESOP, and it's a way to build UI components within Python. So rather than using JavaScript, CSS, and HTML, we can use Python. So there are already many components which are available. For example, text boxes, chat components, buttons, and all. And it's an alternative to Gradio or Streamlit. Around the same time, NVIDIA also came up with the NIM framework. So basically, what you can do is with this framework, you can deploy your own LLM and have a common interface just like OpenAI. So basically, you can deploy, for example, llamas of the world and mistrals of the world, and you can have the compatible API which we use for OpenAI. And there are some other benefits also. For example, what NVIDIA claims is that it's pretty much faster and all with this NIM framework, and it's pretty easy to deploy. So we'll not go into much detail, but what we are going to do in this demo is we are going to combine these two technologies. So for example, here is a simple UI framework that I have built, UI interface I have built, where for example, you can go to a main page, you can go to, chat prompt, and you can type any question here. And when you are going to type any question, by default, you will be calling the NVIDIA NIM, framework. So basically, you will be calling a REST API, which will be hosted on, NVIDIA NIM framework, and you will get a response. So for example, let's see. So basically, I just asked it a question and it gave me a response back. Now, this is a very, very basic demo because still I'm exploring things, but definitely worthwhile to explore. So let's get started. So here is the code, and I have written this code in Visual Studio Code. So basically, what you need to do is you need to first create a Python environment. So I already have one Python environment called Python 3.11, which actually contains Python 3.11. By the way, I'm using Conda, so it's pretty easy to do. So you just have to call Conda create the virtual environment, and you also need some requirements file. So for this specific project, what you need is obviously MESOP. Whatever is the current version, definitely it is going to change in future. Then the OpenAI version and the Python.environment version to load the environment variables. Now this is the file. Now I will just quickly walk through what I am trying to do. So this is just a boilerplate code to instantiate MESOPs, as well as I am just trying to have OpenAI also instantiated. When I say OpenAI, the NIM framework basically uses same compatible APIs which are there. So you just need to change the URL and you are good to go. With this library, obviously I'm loading some environment variables. So here I have loaded some environment variables, and this is how I'm just trying to make it OpenAI compatible. So if you see, the URL changed, and the other thing that is changed is the API key. So when you sign up with NVIDIA NIM, what you get is an API key to get some calls. I think first 5,000 calls are free. So basically, you get the API and you just need to provide this API to get the access. Now, the next what I have done is again given in the documentation of the MESOP library. So basically, what I have done is I gave one path called chat, and I gave a title. And whenever chat is going to be called, what's going to happen is whenever I have something written in a chat component, I'm going to call this function called transform. So basically, this is for chat component, and the other URL is for the main page. So just like I showed you, once you navigate, what you are going to do is you are going to go back and have a main page where a button will be given which says navigate to chat. When you will click that button, you will go to the actual chat page, and in the chat page you have a text component where you can write, and send the response. So again, this is what it is. And most important is how do you call the transform function, which has this chat functionality where we typed, the question. Like for example, in our case, we typed what is the capital of United Kingdom and it gave us the response. So to get that, what we need to do is we need to write this transform function. And what I'm doing here is again pretty much simple. I could have made it much complexer, but I am getting the message or the question which user have typed. In my case, what is the capital of UK? Then what I'm doing is I'm calling the completion API, chat client completion API. Again, the OpenAI, just like OpenAI, you call this particular API. The only thing is now you are calling it as a REST API endpoint and putting all these parameters. So basically, rather than calling OpenAI, you are calling NVIDIA REST APIs, and you are giving these parameters. And what are these parameters? So for example, you can differentiate between different models. So what I have done is I have selected Llama 8B instruct model, and whatever user type, that's exactly what I'm sending with some parameters like temperature and all, and I'm putting streaming equals to false. And whatever the response comes, I'm again returning it back. So what is going to happen is you will have a chat window where the question will come and the response will come. So this is how it is made. It's pretty easy to do. And at the end, we'll have this chat component already available calling the NVIDIA NIM. So this was a very basic demo, but definitely we can build more components. For example, we can have more navigation pages added. We can change the look and feel of this component. We can have multiple chats saved and give it to the LLM at the end. But yeah, this was just an exploration. So let's see how does this framework, MESOP framework evolves, and also let us see how the NIM evolves and what role it plays, in the future. So anyways, team, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Thank you.